Creating an eye-catching book cover isn't easy. Now, I'm a one-man show, so I have to do everything, including cover art and design. As should be obvious from the first edition of The Edge of Justice, my skills have improved over time. So let's look at the tools and the process involved. I used 3 different programs to create what you see. The first is View, which used to be the industry standard software to create the background image. In this case, it's a rugged mountainous scene that will serve as the anchor for the cover image. Later, I added cloud layers, an atmosphere, and the twin moons, and adjusted lighting in Photoshop to create the final version. Next, we have Poser for character art. I started with version 4, but I'm now using P13. It's come a very long way over the years, but it still has a 3D look that differs from AI. The process of creating character images is quite involved, but in brief, my custom figures start in a T-pose and every joint has to be meticulously moved where I want them. I also add clothes and lighting to every scene before rendering. In this case, I've retained the concept of the original cover for the sake of continuity. As I mentioned earlier, I use Photoshop for layering and adding effects to the cover. The major publishing houses provide templates for authors and artists to use when creating book covers. This one is from Ingram Spark. It comes with detailed instructions about where everything has to go and how big the cover itself needs to be. I use it as the foundation layer and build the cover from there. Once all the background and character images have been rendered, I begin placing them over the top of the template. The cosmic background goes on first and is carefully fitted to the template boundaries. The characters go on next. I like them to be as large as possible, so I render them the same size as the book, but I also need to leave room for the title and book descriptors. It's better to make an image smaller than bigger because images are digital pixels, and adding information that isn't there by making them larger is a really bad idea. I typically place my figures in the lower right or lower center of the cover. It's important to match color with the background so that it looks like a single image. After this, we have to add and arrange the cover text. It's a lot more finicky than you might imagine, with font and size, color and effects being finalized at this stage. Each of these has its own layer so they can be moved around. I often use grid lines in Photoshop to make sure that the spine and the back cover line up perfectly with text on the front. Note that I've also included the barcode box on the back in this step. The publishing house prints the unique ISBN 13 barcode in this space. My epic stories permit the cover image to appear on the spine. Every book in the Devrim Conflict series has this feature so that readers can see the front cover image on the spine when it's on a shelf. The title and author names go on as well, carefully aligned with the text on the front. The back cover blurb gives me the chance to convince you as a reader to find the story intriguing. It has to be compelling, easy to read, and fit within the space so you'll not put the book back on the shelf. While it looks finished at this point, I'm not quite done. The next step involves adding blade glow, fixing Brenna's hair, and adding dust with a bit of glow to give the idea the story is taking place in a cold region during the winter. I could hire an artist to do all this work on my behalf, but I've learned to enjoy the cover creation process. Have a look at the other covers in the series to see how each of them differs, yet remains thematically consistent. If you're interested, you can get your own copies at www.newadventure.ca/books. It's adventure for your mind and romance for your heart.